All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today is episode 6 of season 3 of the Look In series, something I do at the end of each team season, where I go back, recap the team's year, look at the future, what this team is doing, and look in to what this team is actually doing with themselves. Today's episode, we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, doing all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all support around our channel be very much appreciated. That's why I turn on all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't want to say any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So today we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets this season came in with very low expectations of finally full-on tanking. They traded Mikal Bridges in the offseason. Everything they did looked like they were going to try to tank fully because this is the first year that they're going to have their own draft pick. Since trading all of them for getting the KDs and the Hardens and all that stuff. This year they're going to have their own draft pick, so it just made the most sense. Let's just tank, get a top pick, and we work from there. But the Nets didn't really do as much tanking as we expected. They started off the year actually being okay. Like they were a big surprise. They looked better than expected. A lot of people projected them as the worst team in the East, but sub 20 wins, and they were a lot better for that first 2 months. With Schroeder, Cam Johnson, they actually were like a fun, gritty team that they had. Then eventually they trade off Delray Finney-Smith, they trade off Dennis Schroeder, and they start to try to really make up for that ground in the second half of the year by tanking big time. They still ended up with 26 wins, which is still 12th in the East. They still ended up with a lot more wins than probably expected this year. We talk about some of the things they did this year. Not trading Cam Johnson was a very interesting thing. I thought he was for sure was gone by the deadline, but they didn't find anything really for him. And now it's interesting to him what's going to look like because he's eligible for an extension this offseason. He's getting paid 20 and then 22 the next 2 years. So we'll see what they do in the offseason with them. Cam Thomas also is up for an extension. He didn't get his rookie extension this year, so now he'll be a restricted free agent. So we'll see what the market for Cam Thomas is because he only played in 25 games this year. He averaged 24 points. We know what Cam Thomas is. He's a bucket getter, but we still kind of don't really know what is he. Is he a starter? Is he a future star? Is he a six-man? What is Cam Thomas? It's still a big question mark. And the Nets don't even know yet, which is why they haven't paid him and why maybe they're trying to wait to dictate what the market thinks for Cam Thomas before they actually make a move on him. So we'll see what happens there. And then just a lot of young pieces. I mean, Nick Claxton is still here on this team. He's getting paid a lot of money. So we'll see how long they keep him around for. And then just trying to go all these young pieces they got. Keon Johnson had a big, year after he was a former first round pick a couple years ago. Couldn't really find his way. And now this year, I think he played the most games he tied with Jalen Wilson for the most games this year for the Nets and averaged 10 points. So maybe he could be something decent for the future. Trendon Watford, I really liked. They took a chance on Zaire Williams, and he was all right. Tosan Evbuam from Princeton actually did some decent things. Jalen Wilson had a solid year. Noah Clowney showed some good things. Tyrese Martin, I'm a big fan of Tyrese Martin. I think he's a good player. Day'Ron Sharpe, who's up for an extension, is going into restricted agency as well. We'll see what they can do with him. You still have Dariq Whitehead, Maxwell Lewis on the end of this team. So they have a lot of young talent. Is it great young talent? Not the best crop, but you have a lot of young talent. And the interesting thing with the Nets this coming off season is that they're going to have money and a draft pick. Right now, they're projected around the sixth pick. And honestly, I think they're a team personally for me where if any team should want to jump up or should jump up, it's probably going to have to be the Nets. I think the Nets, I talked about this I think in the Jazz video, I think in the Wizards video. I talked about we should go back and check that out. Those looking episodes. I think they're a team in terms of teams that need the number one overall pick and teams that need talent. The Nets are near the top. I think they're in that top three where they need talent. A Cooper Flag or a Dylan Harper falling to them would be amazing for them. Like that would be best case scenario. They would absolutely love and need to have that because right now they don't really have a centerpiece of this team. Like you think it might be Cam Thomas, but then again, we don't really know. Is it Cam Johnson? No. Cam Johnson is not a centerpiece of a team. He's a good role player that helps you win a lot of games. But he's not a centerpiece of a team. And they don't really have that with some of the talent. I mean, they got good young players, but they don't have anybody that I think is going to be a future star in this league, you know? So there's just, it's they need some talent, and so this draft pick obviously will be really important to them, which is why I thought they were supposed to go out and full on tank and win like 17 games this year, so you have a best chance of getting that flag or Harper or even like an Ace Bailey. But you know, it still could happen. Again, we still have the draft lottery. So the draft lottery can change so many things. The Nets can jump up to have the second overall pick, and all of a sudden things are looking a lot different than if they have the sixth pick, which they can still get a really good talented player, no doubt. But having that top talent, I think, is what the Nets really would need, and they just don't really have that right now. But also they have a lot of money going in free agency right now. The only players on their books: Nick Claxton for 25, Cam Johnson for 20. Who knows they're going to be around, and then you have Zaire Williams, Cam Thomas, and Damian Sharp all going into restricted free agency. You have Noah Clowney and Dariq Whitehead on rookie deals. You know, the Maxwell Lewis is non guaranteed. A couple other guys like Keon Johnson, Jalen Wilson, Tyrese Martin, Drew Timmy all have team options, which are not going to be only $2 million. They're going to have a lot of money coming up. Going to have a lot of money coming up. And if you think about it, they have been a team that's been in talks where if some star players, if Giannis would request a trade or Giannis wants to leave, the Nets are a team that's been talked about because they have so much money. They can do what they've done multiple times already, which is we're going to build a super team like what they did back in 2020, where KD and Kyrie were free agents. They said, hey, we got a lot of money over here. You could come over here and build your team over here. You know, we'll give you all the money. We'll sign whatever you want to sign. Just come over here, and we have the space for it. And do you? What do you guys want to collab and team up and go out and build a super team? Come do it with us. And we saw how that went. They also did that kind of with the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett thing, where you brought in Darren Williams, had Brook Lopez, Joe Johnson. And it's like, all right, let's trade for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, give up everything to get those two, and we'll build a super team. And that didn't work out. So the Nets are kind of trying to. That's just what the Nets do, where they build a super team, not good. Then they have to spend years trying to recap and try to rebuild with not really much assets, even though they did it after the Pierce Garnett era. It took a long while, but then they found the D'Los, Dinwiddie, Jared Allens, and they had that fun team, which is one of my favorite teams. Then they broke that up to get another super team, and KD, Kyrie, Harden. They played 10 games together. Then you trade KD and Kyrie, and now they're currently in that recycle of, okay, we had Mikal, then we traded him. Now we have Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, and we're still in this kind of weird role where it's like, you know, trying to make a rebuild happen with limited assets. You know, and this year was the best asset you could have, which is your top pick. You know, which you wanted to be better than what it actually is. So now, are the Nets going to do it again? Where it's like, all right, Giannis, and we bring in, I don't know, another star that we can give him max money to, and we're going to try to build a championship team around here again? I don't know. But they do have a lot of money. So who knows? I'm not 100% sure what this free agency class is going to look like, but it's not going to be a crazy class. So I don't think they can build a super team out of this class unless you get like a Julius Randle and hope that a superstar wants out, and you can say, hey, we can work something out where we give you Cam Johnson and Nick, we give you those guys, and you come over here and we do that. I don't really know. It was Jimmy Butler at one time, but Jimmy Butler signed an extension, and now he's Golden State Warrior. So I don't know what the Nets are really doing there. But if we're not doing that and we're going for the rebuild aspect of it, it's still a work in progress. This is probably what year 2 or year about to be year 3 of a rebuild. After you trade KD and Kyrie, and they don't really have the centerpiece yet. You would hope that in the draft maybe they can jump up and grab it. Who knows? Um, and they just, I don't know. The Nets are just in this weird spot, you know, where they have some talented players. You have Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson. You have some talented players. Cam Thomas, if you resign him, but you know they're going to be stuck at the bottom for a little while unless they jump up and get Cooper Flag, you know, or they do the method where they're like, you know what, we're going to do it again, where we're going to try to get 2 stars over here. We're going to try to build a contending team, and we're just going to go that route. That's who we are. We're just always in the market for another star to come over here, with two stars come over here and build out there. So I mean, I wouldn't doubt the Nets going after and trying to go after guys like Giannis or like whoever becomes available. Is it gonna work? I don't really have the highest faith in it, but yeah, the Nets just need to really pick what they want to do here. Are we going full on tank? Going full on rebuild? You know, if so, we probably should have done that this year because now I don't think they have a pick next year. So now being bad next year isn't worth it. being bad next year now is only worth it with the team that has your pick, which I'm not sure. I think it might be the Suns or the Rockets. One of those teams have your pick, and now it's like, well, we're bad, and they're gonna get another pick. Who knows? So now I'm kind of lean. Now it's like I don't know. I just don't know what the Nets are really doing right now. Like, are we going full on tank? Are we going to try to get another guy over here and try to build something here? Are we just gonna be mid for the next 5 years? I don't really know what we're doing around here. So the Nets really have to pick a direction first of all, and know what they're doing. And secondly, what we've got to make a lot of decisions. Like, is Cam Johnson still on this team? Do you trade Cam Johnson? Do you trade Nick Claxton? Do you pay Cam Thomas a lot of money? You know, do you when your draft pick, depending on where it ends up, do you if you jump up number 1 and 2, it's easy. But if you're stuck at number 6 overall, what do you do? Do you take a guy with high potential, like if a VJ Edgecombe falls or a Trey Johnson falls, even though you do have Cam Thomas? Do you get a chance on a Derek Queen or a Jeremiah Fears? They come up, do you take it? You probably do have to take a chance and probably take a swing on someone with maybe not the greatest prospect, but a high potential prospect, and maybe could be a guy in the future. You know, do you do that? Do you just draft whoever, and you hope that a star becomes available that you can go out and get? Do you pay a lot of money to a guy like a Julius Randle in the offseason and hope that he has a year like he did in New York a couple years ago, and you're better than expected? Like, I don't really know what the future holds and what the direction is for the Brooklyn Nets in the future. We just got to wait and see. But obviously, the first thing they got to do is really see what the draft lottery holds for them. And then, two, look at the landscape of the league. Is there a guy that you can realistically go out and get? I'm not really sure. But that's for them to pick, to decide. A very weird time. The Nets are in a very weird spot right now. So we just got to wait and see what they actually think is the right move for them and for the direction of this team for the future. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, doing all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it a whole lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so all support on the channel be very much appreciated. You can look up here, there's a playlist where you can look at the other videos of this series that I do of the look in, go to other teams and watch those. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.